I am quite possibly live. We'll see. Slide that over here. Let's see. Just checking. Alright, so today I had a little idea for a kind of game. And just a simple little basic idea that I want to do a rough prototype for. So we're going to create a rough prototype this morning just for the heck of it. Been having a hard time getting my brain back into gear after GDC. I think my senses are still a little bit overwhelmed, and I'm feeling a little under the weather, so alright, so what was I going to check? I was going to make sure that this is actually all working. Yep, that's working. Is the other thing working? And the other thing? The things and the whatnots? There's one thing that's working. How about the other stuff and things? Alright, so my channel. Need to pop out my chat. Shazam. Okay, cool. Alright, so today the challenge that I had is I wanted to do a couple of things. I want to make a physics-based dice that you can roll. For simplicity's sake, we're going to make it just a six-sided. And then we're also going to make pieces that you can click on to select. And yeah, we're going to make pieces that you can click on to select and then roll for them. Easy peasy. Sounds lemon squeezy. I'm just going to do a quick Google in the other window just to see if the name that I'm thinking of and what else can we do about Alright, so I was looking to see if Opoly is trademarked. Apparently Ghettopoly and Gay Monopoly were both subject to legal action. Necromonopoly hasn't been. But they like this comment. I don't know if it's trademarked or not, but I do know that for a lot of gamers, Opoly is code word for this game sucks. So maybe I won't use that. Let's just call it turret tiles, I guess. And then for asset packages, I'm going to want Cinemachine and post-processing stack, Pro Builder. I don't see Pro Grids in here. I'll have to add that in after. Okay. So we'll let that get set up. So the basic idea of this is it is sort of a smash up of a turret defense game and a Monopoly game. So you'll have to move around the board to collect money, and you'll have to move around the board by selecting a unit and rolling. And But meanwhile, other players with their money can spend it on turrets around the board. So you're sort of like, if you roll and you land in a spot, and you can have more than one guy going around. That's the basic premise that I'm whiteboxing today. And so whiteboxing is just a term for kind of creating a little prototype of a game, just to test to see if the idea works at all. So that's the plan. Turret defense plus Monopoly equals fun, possibly. Crap, likely. All right. So we're going to see how fast we can prototype this bad boy. I've already got an idea for the dice. The idea for the dice is, so we'll create a cube, and then we attach points to each face, and when the die, when physics report that the die has come to a rest, you test to see which one is face up, and that's the number. Then you report that back to the main handler, the game handler. It all works in my head, but since my head doesn't work properly, when I say something all works in my head, that means that it could just be absolute crud. So hopefully that's not the case today. All right, nice. So now let's go to the asset store and look for ProGrids so that I can snippety snap this bad boy. And we're gonna see if this morning, between now and 10:15 a.m., we can get a really, really simple prototype of this concept working in my brain. All right, so ProGrids, there they are. How do I not have it downloaded? I was sure I had it downloaded. I accept all that randomness. I downloaded it on March 20. Oh, that's because that's right now. Oh, my throat is feeling so sore. I probably should get to the doctor today, but we'll see. Procore. Good. All right. Here's our scene. Oh, where's my grids? Okay, so let's go to main. Okay, so that's our basic Shazam. Cinemachine. Nope. Tools, ProBuilder, ProGrill, it's window. There we go. Good. Okay, that's open. Let's create a new shape. And this is going to be a cube that is 1 by 1. 1 by, so Y should be like 0.1. We'll create a tile. Okay, so that we'll actually name that one a tile. So that'll be a movable tile, and we'll duplicate that guy like 7 times. Okay, so what do we have? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. So that means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is our maximum roll. So now we're going to create a new shape. This will be the player, and that's just going to be a cylinder. What's the radius currently? 0.5. Let's make it 0.4 to give us a little bit of range. 8 sides is fine. Height segments 2. 3. Build it. Bam. Okay, good. So we're going to snap to 0.5 for now. I guess I should have the chat up so that... Hey, D-Nighter, how you doing? See, I was just thinking, I gotta get the chat up because what if someone's actually trying to talk to me and I'm just lost in my own world? GDC was great. I'm feeling a little sick from it. I'm not gonna lie. Got a little bit of a cold going on here. Frankie, how's it going? But yeah, I mean, I'm doing all right. GDC was amazing. It was so good. So. All right, so got to figure out what I want to do here. Okay, so the next thing I need, there were so many Yahtzee. So there were so many amazing techs on display at GDC, and so we're gonna put this thing in a room. So we're gonna make the room like 10 by 10 for now, and we're gonna build that cube. And then we're going to drop it down. We're going to drop it like it's hot. And then we're going to flip the normals on this so that it's an interior space. Oh yeah, I'm not making the die yet. I'm just making the room. Alright, so that looks good-ish. Our directional light is set up. Let's set an interior light on this. We're just going to create a light that is a point light. Good. Okay. Okay, good. So, and then the inside of this should already have a collider on it. Yep, mesh collider, good. So now, when we roll our die, so let's create a new shape. We're gonna make this our little. Let's make it a 0.5 die. Build it. Burp. Good. Shazam. We're gonna pop that up here. This will be our die. Okay, and then let's just do a quick now I think off of this we should be able to there should be a UV editor. Now you're not going to really be able to see this if I move it to the other window. Normally I'd work with this in the other window, but let's try and keep them side by side here. So in Pro Builder I'm going to switch so that I can... Okay, so that's... Let's convert this to manual. Set it to manuel. So we want to make this, actually let's convert it back to auto. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we're going to set the tiling to 2, that way we can fit it. That's at 0, 0, so we actually want it to be at... Let's do it this way. So my brain is not functioning today. Not that it really ever does. Come on, you. How do I... Oh, there we go. My snapping seems to be weird. There we go. Okay, so we want 125 probably, and negative 0.625. That's good. Okay, that should not be that hard. Okay, so let's just do this. I'm going to grab the rest of the faces right now, and we're going to convert them all to manual. Convert them all to Manuel. All right, Manuel. There we go. And okay, that's good. Now on each one of these, oh, we did want them auto. Shoot. Oh, and I can't. Ha! I can't work on them individually, so we're gonna have to do them all. So I should be able to get a couple of them in here like this. Come on, you. So negative 125 on this guy, and negative 625. Good. There we go. Okay. Next side. Now these aren't going to be in the proper order. I'll have to worry about order in a minute. There we go. And then we'll just smooth these out. 620. Good. Come on, you. Who are you? There we go. Convert to auto. 2. And then that one's going to go right about here, which should be 125 and 375. Now, are we missing a side? Okay, so there's side 1, side 2. Ah, there it is. Okay, so let's convert that one to auto, make it a double, and we'll wrap it right in there. Good, okay. So this texturing thing's probably going to be one of the hardest and longest processes of the thing. Let's see, when toggle on preview image is the first selected, okay, we don't need that. Renders the current UV to a 256 pixel image. This is what I need. Image size 1024, transparent line color, background, save UV template. And then Turret Tiles assets. I like to have our company name, cover, and then we're going to go materials. And this is dice texture. Actually, let's go TX dice. That way all textures will be named the same and similar. Okay. Good. Okay, so that should do it. So now we should be able to open Photoshop and find that bad boy. It should be in source, turret tiles, assets, cover, materials, TX dice. Okay, so there's our lines. Oh, we're a little off on that one. Okay, let's open that again. Those 4 look fine. It's that one that's messed up, the bottom one. Oh. Two 5. There we go. Okay, good. Let's re-render that. Oh, whoops. That's weird that it didn't... Hey, Dog Daytona, how's it going? So it's weird that that one didn't give me the same options. So I'm wondering if I have to have everything selected before I can render it. I don't want to hide the grid. I want the line color to be that same bright green. Good, tired? Yeah. I've been practicing PUBG for non-stop for days. That's funny. There we go. That lines it up. Okay, so... Okay, so I am going to go into my preferences here. And we're going to go into our grids. Units and rulers. And... oh, here we go. Guides, grids, and slices. I thought it was in here. Column size, units, pixels. Grid, okay, color. Oh, here we go. Guideline every 256 pixels with 4 subdivisions. Okay. And then we want to view our grids. Which I can't. Oh, you have a tournament coming up. Yee. Wow, my all right, let's just check something here. $750. All right, well, I hope you win that $750. Okay, so yeah, it was right. It should be under view. Oh, and then show. That's why. Grid. There it is. Okay, good. So now we can actually create a layer for each. So this will be side 1. Should we give it kind of a pearly sort of? Okay, so there's side 1. And then we're going to duplicate this. And we're going to call it side 2. We're going to slide that. Whoa! We're going to slide that. I don't. Oh, I'm auto selecting group. That's why. There we go. There's side 3. Side 4. Side 5. And side 6. Now normally I'd probably arrange this so that it was a little bit more optimized, but just for the sake of this, let's just get it going on. Alright, so let's choose a better font, something nicer, or something way worse, one or the other. Pixel splitter, yay! 120. Good. Okay. Okay, now just because I'm a little bit... Okay, so if this is side 1, let's see which that one is. Is that the bottom right now? Who are you? Who are you? Okay, that's the front. So that means that this side, over here, 2 over, should be 6. So that should be 6. Okay. And... oh, don't worry about it, Dog Daytona. I'm sure you're going to do great. Are there smaller prizes for people who come in... like second, third, fourth kind of thing, or is it just like one shot prize for $7.50 for whoever wins? Okay, so we'll make this one too. And then the opposite side of 2 should be 5, so that's here. So that should be 5 down there, right below it. Okay. And then this one should be 3. Playing against 22 states. Oh, so it's a team competition. So it's like all Canadians in one place playing against other people from other places. I thought it was like a solo competition and you were playing against other Edmontonians. That should be our 4, not 45. Good. Okay, so let's see if that updates that. So this cube, we're going to call our, we're just going to call it D6. We're going to select the whole object, and, oh wow, you're playing for 3 from here and the rest from 22 states. Cool. So I'm going to create a material just called D6. We're going to drag this into that, and then we're going to drag this onto here. Good. Hey, look at that. It actually worked. Okay, cool. So on our D6, I think you can smooth it a little bit. Here we go, smoothing. Let's smooth this die out a little bit. Let's just see. Oh, I think that's not smoothing the... Okay, that didn't do at all what I had hoped. So let's undo all that. There we go. Okay, good. Alright. Let's not worry about the look of it so much. And we're going to add a rigid body to this. That'll make it physics-based. We are going to use gravity. And let's see where our camera is. So we're gonna select the whole thing. We're gonna put it up here like that. And so we've got our die. Let's see where our camera is, because that camera needs to be facing into the room. Okay, and let's just see, make sure it falls and hits the floor properly. Okay, that doesn't seem to be doing much of anything. It's got a rigid body, it's using gravity. Oh, that's weird. So if we look at the scene, it says it's down here. Oh, it's set to static. That's why. By default, it was set to static. We don't need a static object here. We want something that's going to do that. But I don't want it to fall through the floor. Now this, we're going to call this our room. Okay, it's falling through the room. Oh. So on the room, now it says nothing selected. That's weird. Okay, let's see if that works, because that could be... No. Yeah, shoot. Okay. We're going to get rid of the room, and we're just going to create a floor. Because it likes the physics objects to be convex, it's... I thought they'd have this settled. I need to figure this out. So, 10, 0.1 by 10. We're going to build that cube. And we're just going to call that the floor for now. Okay, and then on this we have to set it to convex for the collider. That just should not be falling through it. Oh, this is supposed to be... See, this is where we just need to... So this just needs to be a box collider. That's the problem of using the... Okay, so in this case we can do a room. It was just because my die collider was wrong. So let's create a new shape. We're gonna make this our 10 by 10 by 10 room again. We're gonna build that cube. We're gonna slide it down here again. Alright, I know what I'm doing. That's a lie. I have no idea. I'm the worst game developer in the whole goddamn universe. Alright, so we're gonna flip the normals on that. Alright. Okay. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so. Wow. How hard is that? That should not be that hard. Okay, so. On the die, it was just because I had the wrong kind of collider and it wasn't set to convex. And it's just easier with a box collider. Everything is easier with box colliders. Everything. Alright, so. So now, on the box collider, I want to create... I'm going to create a new folder for physics. And then in this folder, I'm going to create a new physics material. And we're going to call this dice Someone's buzzing me. Just a birthday notification from Facebook. Dynamic friction bounciness. Let's make it 0. Let's make it 0.75. And then on the D6, that'll give it a little bit of a baboink. It's a technical term, baboink. That's a little bit too much baboink. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to create 6 empty objects under it. And we're just going to call them roll 1 through 6. You know, this may actually be way too... No, this is actually a pretty simple solution for it. I thought I was overthinking it, but maybe I'm not. So we're going to call this roll 2. Whoops. We're going to call this roll 3. Roll 4. Whoops. Roll 5 and roll 6. Okay, now we're gonna drop this down to 0.1 for our pro grid, and roll 1 is gonna go right here in the middle of this guy. Good. All right, roll 2 is going to go in the middle of this, so we need it up here. Good. Roll 3 is going to go down here. Roll 4 is going on the top. Now this is a lot of setup in advance, but I think it'll really pay off in simplicity for scripting. Roll 5 should go over here. And roll 6 should go over here. Good. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to create a new script. So I'm going to create a folder for my scripts. And in here we're going to create a new script, C# script, and we're going to call this check dice. Better chickadee check your dice before you rickety wreck your dice. Okay, so, whoops. Good. Okay, so we're going to create a system serializable because I love them so much. And this is a public class called die value, and die value is going to have 2 things in it. It's going to have a public game object called track point, and it's going to have a public int called die roll or die value. Oh no, die roll is good. Okay. And then we're going to have a public die, whoa, not file, die value. And we're going to call this dice sides. All right, so what that does is I have created basically a holder for each one of those 6 points on a die. Now, I've created it in this way so that if I ever want to make a 4-sided or a 20-sided or a billion-sided die, I can by attaching this to the object. So all we're going to do is we are going to, now on the D6, you should see that appear here, the dice sides. So now we can say this has 6 sides. And the first one, the track point, is roll 1, and the die roll is 1. And we're just going to go through and add those sides in like that. Now, the nice thing about this is that, for example, if I wanted to create a 10-sided die, I could create 2 10-sided dies the same, but if I wanted it to make that a D100, I could change these values to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, for example, and 70, 80, 90, 100, that sort of thing, right? Or 0, I guess. And then that way I could add them together. So I could add 2 dice together, and I'd get a separate tens and singles value for them. That would be the theory. Okay, so check dice. That's good. Now, so in the update, so the other thing we want to do, scatterbrain. Now, how do we do this? We do requires. Oh, require component. There we go. And then you see this. This one always screws me up. So you do 2 brackets, then you go type of. So we actually want to require a. So a dice should always have a rigid body, and what else does a die need? A rigid body? I think that's all I needed. Okay, so yeah, so that was what I needed. So then I'm going to set a private rigid body. So the rigid body is what tracks the physics. And I'm just going to go RGB for rigid body. I guess that's red, green, blue. Let's just actually name it rigid body with, not like that, silly. There we go. And then on start, we want to make sure that we're getting that component. So components are these segments within our game object. These are separate kind of behaviors that you can attach to your object. So this is just assigning it so that I can use it later. So void update if rigid body dot there we go. So basically, when the rigid body is, oh my goodness, sorry. When the rigid body is sleeping, that means it has come to rest, and it'll kind of go into a sleep state at that point. So that's how we'll know when it is, when it's come to rest. Body hides inherited component rigid body. Use the new character. There we go. That's why. Okay, good. Sorry, made a little bit of a mistake there. Just because it was rigid body all lowercase, which is sort of reserved by the system. So check dice value. And we're going to create that. We're going to generate a method for it. So that's our new. And we're going to go through each of the dice faces that we assigned above. I is less than. So we're going to go through each of the dice sides. And we're going to have a private int my roll. Okay. And then on start, we'll set my roll to 0. Actually, let's make this public just so that we can see it in here. All right. And we're going to create a new die value. We're just going to call this one face up, I guess. And we're going to have a float. So float's just a numeric value. So our float is... I like this song. So top face y. Top face e equals negative 1000. Float. Okay, good. So if dice sides, so now we're going to go through each of the dice sides. So if dice sides I dot track point dot transform dot position dot y is greater than our top face y, then our face up will be equal to dice sides I, and our top face y will be equal to, and we're going to create a float facey equals, there we go, because we're going to use this in 2 places, so it'll just be quicker to, or easier to read to do it that way. Okay, so we're just going to check, we're going to go through each of the sides. If that side is the highest, then that side is the side that has the value. And I'll probably make a 4-sided die after this just to demonstrate how it could work with that. Well, depending on time. Anyway, so facey equals dice size track point transform position y, facey top facey face up. Okay, and if now there should be no condition where face up is null. Foot manglers or geeks caltrops. Yeah, exactly. Good old 4-sided foot manglers. Oh, no. Well, that's weird. Use of... Okay, so... Alright, we're just going to set this to a new one to start. Actually, you know what? No, we should be able to just go null. That's why. There we go. So we're going to set it to nothing to begin with. And if it becomes nothing, if it's still nothing after all of this, then the only situation that that should ever happen in is if for some reason my dice has escaped the walls of my room and fallen down to below negative 1000 in the game. So we're going to debug.log, and this is just a you rolled and then we want face up dot die roll to string. Good. All right, so that's just going to say what I rolled. So now, in theory, if I hit play right now, it should give me a roll when it comes to rest. And it'll probably be a 4. Anytime. Whenever you're ready. It's all good. I wonder how long my physics takes to come to rest. Okay, so let's not do it that way. So it doesn't seem like it's auto-sleeping. So let's just check the velocity. It's less than or equal to 0.01 F. No, I don't want that. I want the magnitude. There we go. Alright, let's try that again. And it'll probably do it over and over and over again. I'll probably get like a 4 that says... Did I even assign that? Like, what is going on? We're just going to attach that to Unity and see what our magnitude is. Okay, that's working. Okay, so it's working. So that means that the problem isn't in here. The problem is in my brain because I'm not actually logging this. Okay, so yeah, I didn't have my logs visible. Let's stop this and go back and just see if the sleeping, oops, works. There we go. Okay, so it's definitely working. And it was working the way I had originally done it. I just forgot to log it. So now we need one other thing in this dice, and that is so my roll equals face up dot die roll. Good, that'll set that. And then the next thing that I wanted to do with this is stuff and things. I definitely want to do some stuff and things with it. I don't know what what that stuff or those things are because my brain has gone completely blank. Yeah. Man, where was I going with this? I've got my dice. It's working. It's rolling. I need to check other sides to make sure that works. But there was something else I was going to do. Oh, yes, of course. So we're going to set a private Boolean to rolled. And on rolled, we're going to set that to true. Whoops. No, I don't want to do that. And then if rigid body is sleeping and rolled, then check dice value. And rolled equals false. Now, all that's going to do is make sure that every time you roll it, it should log that once. So you can see the little 1 down there. And then it won't check the dice roll again until it's actually been affected again by physics. So in theory, I should be able to click on this, and then we're going to rigid body, add explosion force. And we're going to add, we'll just go like a 100 right now. And at its current position with a radius of 4. And because it's a relatively small die, I'm gonna create a new random vector. And we're gonna call this one rand explosion equals whoa, come on, fingers. Alright, so we're just going to go new vector 3. And we're just going to set a random range of negative 0.75 to 0.75. Okay. So we're just going to create a random X, Y, and Z here. And then we're going to add those into this new vector. And this will just give us a little bit of a there. Okay. In theory, that should give us the ability to explode that die around the room. Okay, roll to 4. Okay, that is not enough of a explosion force. Okay, so we're going to create a public float. And we're going to call that explosion force, and we're just going to put that right there. Okay. And now on the die, we should get a explosion force showing up in here somewhere. And we're going to set that to like 600. Let's see how that does. Roll the 4. Ah, we forgot to do something. And by we, I mean me, of course. None of you forgot to do anything. But when I roll the die, I need to set that roll back equal to true. All right, cool. Okay, so it's 4. I rolled a 6. And I rolled it out of scene. Oh no, okay. I guess I should probably do this. Set our snap settings back to 1 and actually get this thing in the middle. Alright, so let's set that to 0.5 so that I can get it right in the middle. Good. Move it back a bit and up a bit. And then we're just going to tilt it down so that I can see the whole floor. That's weird. If I'm in the middle, I shouldn't have different things on either side. So let's... There we go. Yep. Okay, good. We'll move it up a bit. Now, can I see that whole bottom edge? Not quite. See, that's weird. It's like, there. Good. Okay, good. There we go. One more time. This time with feeling. Boom. Got a 5. Nice. Another 5. So that's a weird edge case where it landed sort of on an edge and the 2 was actually slightly higher than the 3, so that's what it went with. And a 4. Let's take the stacking off here. Where's our collapse? There we go. All right. So on our random Y, we're actually going to move this. So I always want the Y to be slightly below the die so that it always pushes it, pops it up a little bit. Because if it's above, then it's going to try and explode it down, and that's never going to work, right? There we go. That'll give it a little bit more pop. Maybe not. What? 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 And we're going to reduce those. There. All right. Just getting a good feel to the roll right now. There we go. Now, if I click off, good. Okay, so it is detecting a click on the die, so if I want to re-roll a single die. That's weird that now it's stuck again. Okay, let me just check something here. Yeah, so that one worked. Most of them seem to be skidding pretty far, though. Just playing with those values to get a good feel to it. So, same again, first one seems fine. But the second ones, all the ones after that seem like they're... Ah, okay, that's not too bad. And actually, the die bounce feels not too bad right now. Good. Okay, so now, of course, like any good program, the next thing you got to do to make sure it works is put things everywhere. And just to see if it works across multiples. It should. I can't see any reason why my dice shouldn't work. Okay, multiple dice work. Apparently I'm rebuilding Children of Zodiarcs. I don't know if you guys know that game, but it's by another Canadian developer, so... Cool. Okay, so now we have a room full of dice. And this dude... So all of our tiles, let's move them down so that they're not... Good. And we'll move this guy down so he's... Alright, so we're going to call the cylinder the player. Now, on each tile, we need a tile descriptor. So, this is where we're going to sort of start bringing things together. And we're going to call this game tile, just so there's no collisions. And, like I said, because I love serializables, we are going to create a next tile class that we can use, and that's going to have a public game object, tile object, and it's going to have a public int, which is move value, and more on this in a little bit. And we're going to create a public next tile, and this is going to be valid move tiles. Okay. And we're going to create a public next tile. And we're just going to call this get valid move. And next tile, oh, we need this as a, There we go. So we're going to return a list of the possible moves. This is not making much sense right now, but basically here's what I'm creating, and this is again for extensibility in case I want to change it in the future. But let's say you're on this tile and there's another tile over here. Oops. Another tile over here. What? Okay, just a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm on the wrong tile. Let's move our player down to this one. Okay. Yeah, so that's the one we're on. So this is our 0 tile. 1, 2, 3. Let's say you roll a 3. After 3, you could potentially go to tile 4A. We'll call this tile 4B. I've got a little bit of mental juggling to do around this one, but we'll call this one tile 5B, and we'll call this one 4A, and 5A, and 6A. So in theory, in the future, we could add a rule that allowed if you want to take a shortcut, you have to use 2 points to move down it or something. But right now we're going to keep everything at 1s just for simplicity's sake, but I just want to build that in because it's a thing that's going around in the back of my head. So this should be get valid moves. So we're just going to return a list of valid tiles. And this should be an int. Roll points. Okay, so, and we're going to go for int I equals 0. I is less than valid move tiles dot length I plus plus. Whoops, nope. I plus plus. There we go. And so for each of those valid, so if valid move tiles I dot move value is less than or equal to roll points, then valid tiles dot add we want valid move tiles I. Okay, so basically what this is going to do is for each one of these, we've got a move here, right? So I'm just going to go on a little bit of a side thing. We're going to create a tile material. We're going to call it tile top mat. And we're going to set that to, I don't know, like a kind of gray, bluey sort of thing. And then come on, you. My computer's kind of chugging on the textures here. Just so that I can see the tiles. There we go. Okay, cool. Now on all of these, I want to add a component tile, game tile. There we go. And on all of them, I'm going to slide that up to the top. Now this, okay, so I'm doing this to the batch of these right now. Ideally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this tile as a prefab. So that means I'll drag it into the library, and then everyone will be a clone of it. And then that way, if I make a change to one of them, I can update it across the bunch of them. But for now, this will work. So on this valid move tiles, there's only one, right? And that is this tile 1, and the value is 1. So on their next tile, the same sort of thing. This one only has one valid move, and that's tile 2, and it's going to cost you 1 die roll to do that. Now we move on to this one, same thing. This one only has one valid move, and that's going to be tile 3, and it's going to cost you 1 to do that. Now this one has 2 valid moves. So tile 3 actually has 2 valid moves, and those are tile 4A and tile 4B. And those will both cost 1 for now. We're not going to do too much with those additional values yet. Now tile 4B only has 1 valid move, and that is tile 5B. Good. Tile 5 currently has no valid moves. Now in this way, I'll be able to create levels, and they won't, like, it won't actually require these to be on such a flat, boring grid. They'll be able to be like steps, or go up and down hills, or all around, and that sort of stuff, so that we can really jazz the game up in the future. Alright, so tile 4A has 1 valid move, and that's tile 5A. And tile 5A has 1 valid move, and that's tile 6A. That's cost 1, and tile 6 has no valid moves. Alright. Hooray. So that's good. So now we're going to go back and we're going to create a script for the player controller. Okay. And for player controller, it's going to have a public game tile dot next tile. See, Next tile now doesn't make any sense. See, so that's the valid move tiles. No, you know what? For now, we'll just call it the active tile. And so, on our player, wherever he may be, or she, let's not be sexist about it, this cylinder could be male or female, or other. There we go, there's my player. Sorry, I'm feeling a little sick, and I'm feeling like bizarre. All right, so we're going to add this player controller to our player, and we're going to set our active tile to tile. Good. And then okay, so we're going to have a game object that is your assigned player, and then when we get a roll, we're going to send a message to that player, and that message is process roll and okay, there we go. So we're going to process a roll, and on the player controller, we're going to have a public float. And we're just going to call this move delay. And we're going to have a private float that is current move delay. And we're going to have a private int that is move points left. All right, so what did we say? Process roll. So in this case, we're going to have a public void process roll with an int die roll. Good enough. Okay, and then all we're going to do is we're going to say I now have X points left. So this will add those points to my dice roll, and then if current move delay is greater than 0, current delay minus equals time.delta time. So that's just going to increment down based on the time it took to render the last frame, and current move delay is time delta time. Now if our current move delay is now less than or equal to 0, then we're going to get the next possible moves from our current tile. So next tile, active tile. So in this case, we want this to be a game tile. So game tile GTL equals active tile dot tile object dot get component game tile. So that's going to get the game tile off of this, And then a list of okay, so that's basically going to say how many squares can I possibly move to in this case. And then we're going to set our current move delay, whoa, somewhere here, somewhere in the code. Oh, fingers, don't fail me now. My current move delay equals our maximum move delay, which is just move delay. And my current, so my active tile equals so int rand tile equals vgtl.count. Cannot convert type float to int. So this just needs to be an int here. That should clear that up. Okay, good. So our active tile equals VGTL random tile. Now, I've made an error. A huge, huge error. First, I want to make sure that this is greater than 0. Because I don't want it to pick a random new tile. And then whoa, 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 there we go. Okay. Active tile dot tile object dot transform dot x oh, not magnitude, y, and then this, so this should be position. Okay, so we've got an active tile, tile object, transform position x, active tile y, and z. Okay. I promise all of this is going to come together at some point and you will be seeing something other than code. Okay, so on our player, we have our player controller here. So we're going to set the move delay to every 2 seconds maybe? Okay. So every 2 seconds he's going to check and see if there's a valid move based on how many rolls he has. And on all of our dice, what's this cube? Oh, that's the room. Let's name that room so I know what it is. Okay. Okay, so on all of these dice, we should have an assigned player, so we're going to assign the player to that. Now, the reason I'm doing that is so that if we were playing multiple, because I don't 100% know where this game's going. Right now, I'm just white boxing it to see if I can get a workable game concept out of it. So, Ideally, all of these things could potentially be so that you have multiple people playing at the same thing where they're all trying to roll the dice and they each assign their player. So ideally what I'd want to be able to do is if I have multiple guys on the board, I could click on them and then roll a dice and it would move that character. Right now, let's just get it working with one. It's possible this could work.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Mike. Now, when I said it's possible this could work, what I meant was this is never going to work. All right, let's see here. Assign player sent versus process role, my role. Player controller, process role.
Are you live to thousands around the world?
Pardon?
Are you live to thousands around the world?
Live to thousands around the world. So every single one of you has to count as 1,000 people today, by the way.
Every one of those people represents 10,000.
Yep. Every person watching this stream is worth 10,000 people not watching this stream. All right. Vector married. Okay, so I'm going to attach this. Oh, I see what happened. I know what happened. Okay, so see here, I'm setting the current move delay to the maximum move delay. I'm only doing that if there's valid moves. So the first time it goes through, it's messing it up. Less than equal to 0. So this actually needs to happen outside of that if statement. If it doesn't, it'll never check. Vector single, vector double, vector married. Vector with children. All right. So that should set that up properly. And we also want to set our move points left to minus equal to our active tile dot move value. Good. So that's going to subtract those points. And then on die, we're going to set our rolled to false to begin with so that I don't move a zillion off the beginning. All right, let's see how that works. So they should all land. It shouldn't move at all. I should be able to click on one, and when that lands, my guy should start moving. Come on, baby. 6. So every 2 seconds, he should move. Come on. You can do it, baby. Come on. Where's the move? That's not working. There we go. Okay. Game tile. Get component. Okay, so let's go through. So we have an active game tile. Tile 6A. Oh. I think I know what's happened. Same problem that happened before. I think my player is static, so he's moving. See, I've got to remember to shut these things off. Let's get rid of static on all of our tiles for now. There we go. Okay. One more time. This time with feeling. Okay, so let's get this guy out of here. Okay, good. Okay, so let's have a look at our player. So if I roll that... Oh, we rolled like 3 of them. So every 2 seconds. Well, okay. 2 seconds later, move again. Maybe. Oh, no, I rolled a 1. These guys... Oh, because I didn't click on these guys, it didn't count. 1, 2, good. 1, and then that's all it can... Oh, no, 2. There we go. Yeah, so he picked a random path. Okay. That's good. Now, unfortunately, all of these have their centers. Their chewy, gamey centers. Okay, good. So we can just center pivot on those. So let's do that on all of them. Okay, good. Now he should move to the middle of those. Oh, now that it's... There we go. Okay, cool. So, on this one, it now has a valid move. And that's 5BA, and that's going to cost 1. Okay, and this guy here has a valid move, and that's this guy, which costs 1. And this guy has a valid move, and that's this guy, and that costs 1. And this guy has a valid move, and that's this guy. This guy, that costs 1, and then this guy has a valid move, and that is this guy, and that costs 1. So now that has a loop, and this guy, just for shizzles and gizzles, we're gonna put this right back to the first tile. And cost that 1. So, in theory, if he hits the end of that, he should move on to the very beginning. We're going to set the delay between movement down to 0.75. Okay, and let's roll and see what happens. A 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. 7. Whoop. That seemed like too much. 2. 1, 2. Okay, that was right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he chose the other path this time, which is good. 1. Good. Now let's see if he starts again here. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? Okay, let's just clear this and see what he rolls. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems to be adding an extra one every now and then, which is really strange. 1. Okay. 1. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if one of my things has a 0 value. So it's like a free tile. So let's just check. So on this tile, that one has a move value 1, 1, 1. So we're checking these values here. Aha! See? Tile 5B has a value of 0. So anytime something moved past that, you would get a free move. Interesting. So, for example, this shortcut goes to tile 4. Hey, David.
Morning, Aaron.
So this one's 4B. So let's say you can only go to 4B if you have 3 or more. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. It's going to have to go on. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now if I roll a 3 or higher, it should potentially go down the other one. 4. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Good, we're in that spot again. Let's get a 3 or higher. 3 or higher, baby. Okay, so you can have branching paths that cost more. And because that one cost 3, it went 3, 4, 5. I don't know if I'm ever going to need that, but it's good that it's there. All right, so I'd say that's a pretty successful early prototype. It's not a game yet, but it does stuff. So, yeah, interesting. We have a very rough rollable dice board game thing. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so I think we're gonna call it. We're gonna call that for the day. If anyone wants like more information about this or wants to download it or anything, let me know. But yeah, for now, I think we've got an interesting base to work from that we can actually build something out of. Maybe we'll do it in VR. We'll add a VR camera and allow you to throw the dice. Who knows? Who knows? Could be anything. Could be nothing. All right. Have a great day, everyone.